Hello, everyone. I'm Emily May with Mission Pro Wrestling, and we are celebrating Women's History Month. And we will be sharing a series of interviews and conversations with the ladies of Mission Pro Wrestling that have been a part of this amazing journey. And today I'm very excited to welcome the Spice Ranger, Kayla Sparks.
That's right. Hey, Emily, how's it going? Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, I am so excited to be chatting with you. And we're here celebrating Women's History Month and,
Yes.
the journey that we all have as women in the industry. I'm so excited to talk to you because you are just a spark of
Aw,
energy and just compassion and kindness. So, of course, we had to chat with you.
aw, that means so much to me. You're so sweet, Emily.
So, to kind of jump into our conversation today, what does Women's History Month mean to you, and how do you think you'll celebrate?
Oh my gosh. I mean, girl power, I'm all about it. You know what I mean? Like, since I was like, oh, in the womb, I feel like I've been, I came out as like yelling girl power. You know what I mean? It's awesome that we get to celebrate, women because we need like a lot of more of that, like women empowering women. And I'm so proud, like, to be a part of Mission Pro and, especially because it's ran by women and Thunder Rosa and you and Melanie and everyone behind the scenes that, definitely should give all the credit. And like, it's amazing all the things that you guys have done and giving a platform for women and, wrestling just, it's amazing. So like, it really means so much to me, like, being a part of Mission Pro and, as a woman and everything else.
I mean, so talk about your journey. I know with Mission Pro Wrestling because we're empowering women to just have a voice in the industry.
Yeah.
We've changed the game, and
Hmm.
we're one of the top promotions that are elevating women in the industry. So how has your journey at Mission Pro been? What was that moment when you got that call?
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
know you spoke a little bit about it of like what it means to
Yes.
be here, but
Yeah.
share with us.
Yeah, I definitely that was amazing. Like I got the call from, Brian and he had a lot of interest and wanted me to go to that was my first show was at San Antonio and that was my first time in Texas and so like that was huge for me and like I've been such a big fan of like Mission Pro and Thunder Rosa so like that was a huge like that's I still can't believe I'm part of it and it's such a it's just been such an amazing journey and I can't believe that I'm a part of Mission Pro and I was so excited when I got the call and like that was so fun like getting to meet you and meeting everybody it was for the Boys and Girls Club show and I got to wrestle the Woad which was a crazy match but she was amazing everyone I just love the fact that everyone is just so uplifting for each other and that everyone just really wants like the best out of everybody and it really shows like behind the scenes and like in the matches and everything else and the way like you guys like just give everyone a platform to share their stories and stuff. It's amazing. So I'm so happy to like be a part of it, and I love everybody there at Mission Pro. I
Oh my gosh, I can't stop smiling because you're
know.
smiling and I feel like your energy.
Aw.
So, I always reflect on Women's History Month.
Yeah.
I've had many influences in my life. So let's hear from you about who has been your influence in your life in the industry and outside of the industry.
Okay. Wow. There's so many, right? I want to hear yours too. But yeah, definitely, obviously, I'm wearing my, Melanie C. Sporty Spice shirt. The Spice Girls were big influences for me growing up. Like growing up in the '90s as a kid, and just being a girl and seeing like just larger than life. Like they took over the world, and like I'll never forget it. Like Spice World, and that's why I use the name the Spice Ranger. To really like it's reminding me of like my childhood and like really it really stems from like they all were individuals, like all five of them. Melanie C, she was sporty. Mel B was scary, and Jerry was ginger, Victoria was posh, and then Emma was baby, which those were all their nicknames. But like they all were like individual, and they all like you could tell there was like a sisterhood bond, and like I really loved that, and I love that they were so full of like positive energy, and they just they didn't care what people thought of them, like whether you liked them or not. They were just there and they wanted to like make an impact. So like that's why they were really such a big influence for me growing up and still obviously, and but yeah, definitely them. And there's just so many like outside the industry. I could go on and on, but like within the industry, definitely like my favorite women wrestlers were definitely China was number one. She was like one of my biggest influences to actually get into wrestling because, as you know, like she wrestled the guys and wrestled the women back then, and that was a big thing. Like she definitely like broke the mold and for women that, today what you see now on the scene with women's wrestling, like there's so many like intergender matches now and it's I feel like she definitely helped like start that. And she was just always, I just love that she was always herself and she didn't care what people thought of her, you know what I mean? As far as like her physical, like she was really strong and, I rest in peace because she was one of my favorites and just, I'll never forget like, a couple days, it was actually like, I feel like it was like 8 or 9 days before she passed away. And I reached out to her, not thinking that she would read my message, but on Instagram, she read it and she replied back. And I'll never forget that. She was just so taken back. Like she was so happy that, I reached out to her and told her like she was like my hero growing up and like still to this day, like, and yeah, that really meant so much to me. And like I'll never forget that. Like you never know. That's why I always like I try to tell the people now, like while they're living. And I know Thunder Rosa actually just posted something about that. Like it's always you should tell the people that influence you, like people that you look up to now today before it's too late. Because you always hear like things like when people pass away, that's when, they get like, recognition and stuff like that. So that's what I always try to do is like, just always let the people know how much you care and how much you love them. Like, it's always like to uplift each other. That's what I'm all about is just like, you know, I'm all about that. So yeah, there's so much more, but those are the ones that stick out for
I
me.
mean,
But
it's so beautiful. I mean, you are the type of person that lives in the moment. You
yeah.
live in the moment with just a freeness and an energy that is so
Aw.
admirable.
Aw.
We
Thank
definitely
you.
need to do that a little bit more. So
Yeah.
we definitely can learn from you.
Aw.
Um, and there's a whole generation of young girls that look up to you and look up to women in the industry and around the world and in any place in life.
Yeah.
What's advice to what's some advice you would give some young girls that either want to be in the wrestling industry or just in life
Yeah.
and things you've learned along the way?
Oh my gosh, that's so important, Emily. I'm glad you mentioned that because, like me, I just remember being the little girl, having that dream of wanting to be a pro wrestler, and it could have been anything, but like the fact that I just lived and breathed wrestling, and it was my escape from from reality. Like that's it still is to this day. I'm still such a huge fan of it. I loved it since I was a kid. But like any little girl that's watching this, or like any little girl out there that wants to pursue their dream, no matter what it is, just always, no matter how like what society thinks like what is like meant for a girl or a woman to do or not, just go for it. Whatever you feel passionate about or that you love, that's what I've always like really like try to do. And yeah, just always like follow your dream no matter what. Don't listen to any negativity or anything out there that might bring you down or and stuff like that. And just always just do what makes you happy at the end of the day.
Yes, that's amazing advice. Great
Yeah.
advice for us to remember. Do what makes
Yeah,
you happy.
right, right. That's all we want, happiness, right?
So as we, continue Women's History Month and celebrate, there's a lot of reflection on some of the trailblazers that have come before us, and you're a trailblazer yourself in your own right. And so,
Oh,
what has been a moment for you, a pivotal moment for you in either in wrestling or in life that helped shape who you are today?
wow, I guess, I mean, the one moment for me, I guess, was just recently. I mean, this past year, last year, I was going through a lot of, like personal stuff. And I was literally like, I felt like I was at rock bottom emotionally, like mentally, physically. I really felt like I was really lost and I didn't, I was really struggling with myself, with accepting who I was and accepting like where I was at that point in my life. Like I wasn't even thinking about getting back into wrestling at the time earlier last year. And what really like sparked that passion again was really because I've always been a fan of wrestling. It was just I really struggled in the beginning, like when I was wrestling. I was 5, 6 years into it, and I unfortunately suffered a concussion, which it really put me in a deep depression for years about it because physically couldn't get in the ring, and it was a struggle for me because all I wanted was to be a pro wrestler since I was a kid. So, I that was really a struggle for me, but excuse me, I was able to conquer it by just that past year. I just really had to dig deep and really find that like self-love that I really needed to do, and like that those kinds of things that you really have to like dig deep and what you find out what's triggering that like negative thought, you know what I mean, in your head that's making you think like you can't do it or you can't, push through. And I really like, I think mental health too is a lot, like it's another important topic too, because, as of late, there's a lot of light shed onto it, but I think it's so important to just it's not only important to be like healthy, mental, like physically and stuff, but mentally. I definitely think it's so important. And, that's why I really wanted to shed light on is like, I really had to dig deep and like I did a wrestling podcast. They reached out to me out of the blue, which I don't even know that the Shining Wizards reached out to me last year in January, and that's what really sparked like that passion again because I haven't like literally haven't done anything wrestling related like over 14 years. So I was just like, wow, like why me? Why am I? You know what I mean? Like so I was so appreciative to like have that platform, in that way and it just got me like, and there was Tony was a fan. He had his like, he remembered he had my VHS tape from back then from when I was Kayla, not Kayla Sparks yet, but when I was Kayla still wrestling. And that meant so much to me. I'm like, wow. And then, going through what I was going through in my personal life, it just really like, I had to really dig deep. And, so and obviously like when I got back into wrestling, when I decided like, you know what, I'm gonna do it no matter what. And like I started training and I was really scared about it, like that fear. I'm sure like with anyone can relate to that, like getting back into something after so long and always having those doubts in your head, like fear and can I still do this? Like am I still relevant? Like am I good still? Like am I ever you know what I mean? Like those kinds of thoughts went in my head and like I really just tried to see like, I always try to see the glass half full and the positive sides of things. And that's really what got me going. And thank God I had the support system that I had. My friends and family were there. And you guys, like, I just like the wrestling, like, it's not just, like your people that you work with and you wrestle matches like that. It really is a family, so like I go back, sorry if I'm going all over the place, but like, yeah, Mission Pro is like my family. And like, I just love that I have, like, it's so good to have that support system because it makes you feel good and like makes you want to like do better and like want to see others strive and or thrive, you know what I mean? And be successful. So ever since I've been back to wrestling, it's just been amazing. Like in that short period of time, last summer, everything's it's just been a dream come true. All the opportunities I was able to get and just, I'm so grateful, blessed to have that and the support system and everything. Like my life has changed completely, like from last year. And it's all because you just have to have hope, that things will get better and, and it does. It eventually does,
It definitely does, and I think it's important to remember that it's a journey, and
Yeah.
there's amazing people around you that can support you.
Yeah.
Speaking of support, Mission Pro Wrestling is one of those organizations that's a sisterhood,
Yeah.
and we're trying to make a difference in the community and the women in the industry. And so, where have you've watched Mission Pro's journey? Has there been a moment at Mission Pro that you remember being that if I can use it, that little spark that
Yeah.
changed kind of your outlook on what Mission Pro was doing and women in the wrestling world?
Yeah. I mean, I just love like everything like about Mission Pro, and obviously Emily, you were there for that moment when we did, the the for the Salvation Army in San Antonio, and when Thunder showed up, that was that moment for me. I'm sure you remember when she got so
Yeah.
emotional with us, like when we did the holiday cheer.
We rewrote Jingle Bells with
Yes.
Mission Pro
Yep.
lyrics, and we
Yes.
just had this moment of connection,
Yeah. Yep.
and we all cried.
Oh my
And
God. Yeah.
I mean,
What
it's
a moment,
always yeah,
right?
it's always a beautiful time around the end of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to give back, and we
Yeah.
were trying to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club, and then to have you know Thunder react in that way was really beautiful. And I
Really
remember we like all hugged each other. We had to
Yeah,
like
we did. That
wipe
was
all the
so good. I'll
tears.
never forget that. Yeah, and you did such an amazing job with the basket, Emily, and everything. And the that was awesome. I loved every second of it. Like I love doing. It's so awesome to give back. You know what I mean? And Mission Pro always gives back, and Thunder Rosa, you always see her giving back. So like that's really like really inspirational for me to just I want to do more like as far as like because we are on a big platform and like Mission Pro and Thunder, and you guys have given us this platform to just like try and like do good in the world. You know what I mean? So like for me, I love that, and I feel like I want to do now that since I've like really come to learn myself and love myself more and be accepting of like me coming out and me being part of the LGBTQ community and gay lesbian. I really want to like I feel like there needs to be more representation out there and really so that's what one of the things I want to do like this year and going forward is really like try to try and reach out to organizations because there's so many LGBTQ organizations out there that are doing good for the youth and stuff like that and people that are probably struggling to like come out and stuff because that was my personal stories that I really struggled with that for years. So like if I could like shed light on anything like that or share anything like personal experiences like that, I definitely want to try and help other people because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And like whether it's we're on this wrestling platform Mission Pro, but it's more than that. I definitely think it's bigger, bigger than that. So
Yeah, it definitely is. Like it's far reaching and,
yeah,
it's a universal moment for us to connect with each other
yeah,
and to be better people and elevate voices that aren't heard. And
right.
it's a beautiful thing we're trying to do. And
It is.
I'm so happy you're a part of it.
Aw,
Um,
me too, Emily.
I wanted to ask you one more
Yeah.
thing. If you could describe yourself in 3 words, and we plastered it all over from Women's History Month, what would
Yeah.
they be?
Oh my gosh. Wow. 3 words. Okay. Uh, I'm a very loyal person. Like if you know me, like I put my heart and soul into like the people I care about, and it was one of the things that I really I just always love to see other people succeed and like so I'm super loyal. I guess 2 other ones. I obviously like I'm always trying to be positive, so I try to be a positive person and try to like, bring that out of my friends and family too to like just always like try to see things. I know it's hard to do because like things happen and we get down on ourselves or there's something negative in the news or something or you know what I mean or bad news and it's just I know it gets hard but like I always try to be positive and try to see the better side of things and I guess number 3 I don't know um that would describe myself I don't know, positive, loyal. Let me think. What's another one? I feel like happy, but that's kind of like positive, right? I don't know. I kind of. I
You're
feel like I
fun.
just
You're
want to be
fun.
myself.
You're fun.
You know what I mean? But
That's okay.
yeah,
We'll go with the positive and loyal. That
yes,
was our
yes,
Kayla Sparks. Thank
yes.
you so much for having a conversation with me about Women's History Month, and
Oh, thank you,
you know,
Emily.
thank you again, and thank
Yeah,
you all for watching our
yes,
series about Women's History Month and the ladies of Mission Pro. You can
yes.
follow Mission Pro Wrestling on all of their social media platforms and subscribe to us on YouTube for more content. And remember, for all of our upcoming shows, you can go to missionprowrestling.net or you can stream it on Title Match Network. I'm Emily May for Mission Pro Wrestling. Thank you so much. And remember, follow all of our channels to watch all of our Women's History Month interviews. Thank you so much, Kayla.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you, guys. Girl power.